Hello, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be, whether it be Yankee Stadium or Dodger Stadium. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Reach Out with Ray and Steve. This is the show where East meets West, where the Yankees meet the Dodgers, where baseball meets music, and we all come together for community. All right, everybody, let's bring on the host, Ray and Steve. Come on in, gentlemen.
Hey, Robbie.
Roberto, what's going on?
Good. How you gentlemen doing? Where are you, Steve?
I'm in sunny Florida, but it's kind of cloudy now.
Yeah, you look like you're in your closet there.
Yeah,
he tends to make things cloudy in these last few days. I don't know what it is, but
there we go. Thank you, thank you. Are you trying to get into the Dodger Stadium, Robbie?
I'm trying to get in there. I have a new office set up. They told me, but I can't. Nobody's going to let me in.
You know there is a lockout going on.
Oh, that's what it is. Oh,
yeah,
well, you, evidently, Robbie, you know the owner, so that doesn't go for you.
I know it's a drag, but I should be on. Well, never mind. I don't want to get into politics of all this, but it really is a drag, isn't it? That this lockout is going on and on and on.
I know. We're going to talk about it. We have a sports writer, Brendan Cuddy. He's going to talk about the lockout and some Yankee news as well later on in the show.
And also, let's get to the Frankie Valley report, okay?
Okay.
Let us know. What's the story? How's he doing? How's he feeling? And when do you guys get back on the road?
March 4th is our first show, and it's in Boston. And then we go March 5th. We're in New York City, Staten Island. And then March 6th, we're in Westchester.
Okay, that's beautiful.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right.
I'm glad.
I won't see you guys because you're not going to be there, are you?
No, we won't be there. Sorry. Oh. We see you enough, Robbie, okay?
Oh, nice.
Hey,
but we are. I'm going to come down where you guys are going to be in a couple weeks after that because we're going down to Florida.
That's right. Ruth Eckhart Hall in Clearwater. Yes, that's going to be really cool. And but you have a show after our show. Tell us a little bit what's going on tonight, real quick.
Well, hold on, Steve. Go ahead.
Well, my buddy Joey D is going to be my guest. He's been a guest a number of times. He lives down in Tampa, so we're going to all see him down in Tampa. And Joey D, 60 years ago today.
Yes.
60 years ago today.
Wow.
February the 7th of 1962 had the #1 hit in the nation. And that song was called the Peppermint Twist.
Yes.
And then 60 years later, we've got our own version of Peppermint Twist, which is fully endorsed by Mr. Joey D himself. And so we let it out. We released it right, kind of before Christmas. And then once Christmas hit, everybody wanted to hear a Christmas song. So we were done with it. But it jumped out of the chute. We had 200,000 views in only 2 weeks.
Wow.
Everybody needs to get that. And talking about hits, Robbie.
Yeah.
Gio Urshela is on the phone. Is Gio on the line? Gio, how are you?
Ray, how you doing, my brother? How are you?
Hey, number one, we missed the heck out of you. You got to be in New York in this cold weather. You understand me?
I mean, Florida is not warm. Yeah. It's getting cold here too.
Hey, I'll trade with you any day of the week, Gio.
Yeah, okay? For sure.
But listen, number one, I got to ask you. You're down there during the lockout. I mean, you would be doing this anyway. I mean, how are your workouts going?
Really good. I've been working out almost every day. Here with Glaver, working out every single day. We're lifting weight, but we're hitting, taking ground balls, all that.
And what field are you working at over there?
I mean, we got a couple fields. One day we hit a high school. The other day we go into a case, and then that's it. Like every day we got something new.
Hey, and your knee, how's your knee feeling?
Really good, really good. It's been working really good, and I've been like getting the knee strong I'm ready for the season.
Now, the Yankees have a new infield coach by the name of Luis Rojas. Have you ever worked with him before?
No, never. I just met him like playing against the Mets, and that's it. But he's a really good coach and really good guy.
Now, do you feel that the team is looking good this coming season? How do you feel about the team for this coming season?
Yeah, sure, 100%. The team looks good, and let's see what happens after lockout. And I think that all the players are ready to go.
That's unbelievable. It's the dedication that you guys put in. And Gio, I got to ask you, again, you know how I am. I got to ask you about all the wonderful work that you do. I mean, you're a strong Christian guy like Robbie Robinson is for us with Frankie Valli, etc. You continue to do the great things off the field. And now I understand that you're going to have a golf event. It's sometime this coming. It's called the Hank Steinbrenner golf outing, featuring the Gio Urshela All Stars, and it's going to be done through your foundation to get money for your country and also for the kids in the Bronx. Is that true?
I mean, yeah, like that's something like impressive, and I'm really excited for that. I'm really happy. Like, I know it's been like tough years, and I know a lot of people who really need help, and then they're gonna love it and they're gonna enjoy it.
Well, this is going to be May 9th at the Brook Lawn Country Club, and we're going to be honoring Luis Guzman that day, and Luis Antonio Ramos is also going to be honored that day from the television show Blue Bloods. Do you watch Blue Bloods, Gio?
No, not really. I just see that Luis Guzman is the new movie, but the journey, it's funny.
Oh, so he's good in that? I mean, he's a big fan of yours.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. I met it like a couple of years ago, and it's really fun.
Well, he's going to be at your golf event. Evidently, you and Leo are going to be honoring him, and you're going to be honoring Luis Antonio Ramos. And I'm very, very happy. And I guess we will be seeing you in Florida shortly. And we got a great feel for you and Galebar to work out one day. So we're going to have a lot of our kids there. So I need you to come down and work with the kids. Well, I need for the kids to watch you two work out. Is that all right?
Yeah, Ray. You know, like always, I got you back. you just need to call me, and that's it. I'll be there.
But
Gio, why is it so important for you to give back to the community in the Bronx, but kids in general from all over?
Could you hear that, Gio? Steve asks, why is it so important for you to help so much?
I mean, I'm not only a baseball player. I'm like a human. Like, I know how people like getting a rough time and just trying to help people. That's it. Like, there's like nothing like that make you feel more happy when you see that people's face like very grateful, and you see that smile. That's what I like to see when we help people.
Well, I'm going to let you go, but before I let you go, I just want to let you know, I got to let you know that Harold Reynolds will be voting for you for the Roberto Clemente Award this coming season, which is the biggest award in baseball that you can get. And Robbie, what was your question?
I want you to, Gio looks so good in pinstripe, but I think he might even look better in Dodger blue.
Hey, Robbie Robinson, our musical director and our co-host, his best friend, I thought I was his best friend, but I'm not. His best friend owns the Dodgers, Robbie. I mean, Gio, his best friend is the owner of the Dodgers, and Robbie is saying that you would look good in a Dodger uniform. Yeah, in a few years, when he's almost retired, then you can have him.
That's funny.
Well, Gio, thank you so much. You hear me? Hey, and by the way, is it all right for me to tell the people that you have a new a special person coming into your life?
Yeah, sure.
Gio Urshela, his wife, is going to be having little Gio soon. Is it a boy or girl, Gio?
We don't know yet. This week, we know.
Well, it's either going to be Gio. If it's a girl, he'll call her Ray. Okay? That's all.
For sure.
Gio, thank you, my brother. You know, you got a lot of love over here for you.
Yeah, God bless
thank you, Ray.
Gio.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you,
God
brother.
bless. God bless.
Take
All
care.
right, have a good
Oh,
night.
man. What a great guy, Ray. I mean,
Oh, I love him.
He incorporates what the Yankees are all about, and you mentored so many people over the years. He must rate right up there for you.
He's like Gio. I consider Gio like a son. Okay, literally. I think of my son when I think of him because it reminds me when my son was playing with the Toronto Blue Jay organization, and they got the same temperament, and I love that. My son now is a police officer, and you know.
So Ray, when Gio comes over to the Dodgers, then you're going to have to move out to California too. Then, aren't you?
I will have to. I will at least have to visit. Okay, so
Right,
Robbie,
you really
make sure
want
you
him
have,
in Dodger blue there.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
The first thing, Robbie, first get a key to the stadium first, and then we'll get Gio over to the Dodgers. How's that?
All right,
that sounds good. But before we bring on Lou Antonio Ramos, let's get Brandon Cuddy on. So get Brandon on.
Yeah.
Hey,
Brandon, what's happening?
Great sports writer.
What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
The Star Ledger, NewJersey.com. Great guy. Great articles, man. You really capture the heart what the Yankees are doing and what the future is all about. What's the deal with this lockout, Brendan?
Man, it's tough, right? It's tough to really empathize with either side in this lockout. There's not a lot of progress being made. All fans care about is when are they going to get on the field? And really, your guess as to when that's going to happen is as good as mine because things look kind of lost right now.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
and Brandon, go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, right.
No, well, I was going to say to you, do you think that, this lockout has no bearing on the fact that the players are going to be doing these workouts anyway? This is what they would be doing anyway before spring training. Am I wrong?
Yeah. They would be working out on their own. They would be doing the things with their personal trainers at their homes, at their home fields. But right about around now is when they'd be ramping up to get to spring training, to get to the facility. Right now, players can't use their team's facility. We had Gio Urshela on earlier. He's in Tampa, but he can't have any contact with the Yankees at their player development facility there. So it's tough on those guys. He's missing out on all the technology the Yankees have. He's missing out on the physical therapy workouts that he could have there. It's just it's a shame all the way around. You hope that it doesn't affect the product on the field, and you hope that Major League Baseball doesn't push the regular season back and we miss games.
Do you think, Brandon, you're going to lose some fans? I'm sorry, Robbie.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Steve.
You think you lose some fans along the way if this goes on and on?
I think that, I think that's actually possible. I think that you're probably already losing fans. And I think that if they start missing regular season games, you'll really start to lose fans. But here's the thing. When the Super Bowl's over and when you're in May, you're in June, and you have nothing really else to do but watch baseball, what are you going to do if you're a baseball fan? Right. You're going to watch baseball. Major League Baseball knows that it's really the only game in town outside of the NBA and NBA playoffs in the summer. So it kind of stinks, right? If you're a baseball fan, you kind of feel like you're being used or pulled around. I don't think many fans will be lost, but I think there'll be a great resentment toward baseball. You might see guys decide to not go to games and instead watch on TV, which will affect bottom lines.
I have a question for you, Brendan. So I don't know, technically, does this mean that there can be no trades, there can be no signings and all that through this lockout, or can that still technically go on? Do you know? All
business is halted. There's a closed sign on the door at Yankee Stadium, and the lights aren't going to go back on until this lockout is done. Of course, teams' front offices are talking about trades, or discussing trades, or thinking up trades or signings, but they can't actually make them happen right now. Though, listen, who's monitoring whose cell phone, who's got a back channel here and there? I would expect a rush of signings and trades once the lockout ends. I'm sure some people have things lined up, but right now, no, Robbie, nothing can happen.
So I've got another question follow-up then, and that is, who's going to get Freddie Freeman, the Dodgers or the Yankees?
Door number 3, Robbie.
Neither, huh?
He's going back to the Braves, right?
He'll end up with the Braves. I'm sure of it. I think that very often teams like the Yankees, teams like the Dodgers, who have a ton of money to spend and a peripheral need, get roped into these kinds of rumors, into these negotiations as a way to drive up asking prices or as a way to leverage the team that the player really wants to sign with. And I think that's what's happening here with Freddie Freeman. I wouldn't say never. You know, the Yankees could use a first baseman. They have Luke Voigt. He's got to stay healthy. And he would look, Freddie Freeman would look great between Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton in that lineup. But I just don't see it happening. I don't think he really wants to go to New York. And I think that the Yankees would rather use that money to spend it around and also use it for a contract extension for Aaron Judge at some point.
Then I got to ask you the question, which is what happens third base shortstop situation in New York?
I think the Yankees end up with some kind of stopgap situation where they sign a guy for a year or two or trade for a guy for a year or two, and they wait for their heralded prospects, Anthony Volpe and Oswald Peraza, to be ready to have an impact at the big league level. It's these days, the young guys rule Major League Baseball. It's all about getting the young talent, the cheap talent, and getting them to the majors as soon as possible. Anthony Volpe is looking like an offensive dynamo. I think the Yankees see him on the way. They think that they can beef up the offense elsewhere and wait for him to be ready. So look at a Jose Iglesias. Look at a Trevor Story, possibly on a high money short-term contract, or even an Andrelton Simmons type. I could see those things as possibilities for the Yankees on opening day.
Now, Brendan, you recently wrote about...
What does this mean with our boy Gio Urshela as far as his situation?
You know, it's kind of up in the air, right? Gio has been a good soldier for the Yankees as long as he's been around, since breaking out in 2019, being one of the team leaders, a great defensive third baseman. But the fact of the matter is there's Gleyber Torres in the infield, there's DJ LeMahieu in the infield, and who knows what they're going to do at shortstop. There's a possibility, there's a world where Gio ends up being a guy who plays a lot of third base, plays a lot of shortstop. Maybe he takes some ground balls at second. Maybe that becomes an option for him. But I think his defensive versatility and his ability to play it, a bunch of spots and enjoy it is very helpful. And if he says the knee is great, maybe that there's some pop in there too that's still around offensively. I think that there's certainly a future for him in pinstripes, but I think he might have to play around a little bit more than he's used to.
Or it could be Dodger blue.
Well, now
wow,
we'll
Robbie,
find
you
out
can't
about
get
that.
everybody, Robbie.
Hey. Robbie's
Brendan, real quick, Aaron Judge and Gary Sanchez, your recent articles about those, and you talk about the farm system and the rotation, but talk about Sanchez and Judge's future with the Yanks.
Well, Judge will be a free agent after next season. It's kind of a weird spot, right? He's the face of the Yankees, the best player on the Yankees, yet he doesn't have a long-term commitment, and you can see why, right? Older, 31 years old. I'm 34, so saying that hurts. But, a bit of an injury history, though he proved last year that he can play a full season healthy. There's just a lot of question marks about his situation and whether the Yankees want to lock him up right now and give him an extension the way the extensions didn't really work out for Luis Severino and Aaron Hicks, or do they want to let him play out the season, make sure he can stay healthy, but also kind of make things awkward where there's a clubhouse that says, hey, this is our guy, this is our team leader, this is the guy who puts butts in the seats, and you're not willing to pay him? That can make things kind of weird and put the Yankees in a spot they're not used to being in.
Hold on one second, Steve. Lou Antonio Ramos, of all the actors that I know, Chaz Palminteri, Richard Gere, you name it, the guy that knows the most about baseball is Luis Antonio Ramos, one of the stars of Blue Bloods, and I want to get him on before you leave. Lou Antonio Ramos, I've seen every week with Tom Selleck, and listen, I don't want to go over all his credits. I mean, you saw him on Do the Right Thing, you saw him in Martin, you've seen him in everything. Him and Luis Guzman are the two biggest character actors in the world today. So I mean, let's get Luis Antonio Ramos on.
Hey, welcome to the show, sir. Welcome. Oh,
he's got his glove. He's got his glove on.
He's ready to cross the line.
Luis Antonio, yes, number one. I want to introduce you to Brendan Cuddy. one of the top
Hey,
writers
Brendan.
in New York.
Nice to meet
And
you guys.
I know that you always have some kind of a question that you wanted to hit him with. So what would that be, as far as from the standpoint of your Yankee love?
You guys covered it. You guys covered it, and I think the Judge thing is about staying healthy and him proving that he can stay healthy, as it's already been mentioned. I think they have the team. The Yankees always reload. You know, the thing about the Yankees. When I was playing ball out in the independent leagues in LA, you know, we always thought about. And this was in the '90s when they were on that run, and it was always about reloading, and they always found a way. That's basically, you know, trust that. Trust that the management is going to do the right thing and keep the team moving forward. It's too big of a pie. It's too big of a pie to let it falter, and it just won't. It won't be allowed to do that, and they'll find a way. So all of these things that now we have all this time to talk about because of the lockout, they'll find their way.
Brandon, all those awards behind Lewis are not Academy Awards or Emmys. Those are all baseball awards. Okay, I mean, this guy, I talk acting, he talks, he talks about baseball all the time. You know, say, Lewis, tell us a little bit about those awards.
Well, some of them, you know, some of them are cycling things, and some of them are, as I mentioned, I played in an independent league. I played in an amateur baseball league in California, where we play. They call it the Amateur World Series. LA, the MSBL. You guys ever hear about that? Men's Senior Baseball League.
Yes.
So we played. You know, I played and won a couple of championships, won a couple of rings. It was a great thing to do because I was so focused on my work as an actor that I never really got a chance to do that when I was a youngster. And doing it now has been really great. You know, it's been really great. And I've been doing this now for some time. Big Knick fan, of course, and the Yankees. I grew up in the Bronx, so it's a big deal for me. You know,
Of all the roles that you have played, which is your favorite?
I did a film called Miracle in Spanish Harlem. It's about this single father raising two children. That was the thing that I really was most proud of. The thing that brought me much to prominence recently was a show called Power on Stars. That's where all the work that I had done during the 90s and the early 2000s came rushing forward because it was all pre-internet. So once I got on that show, it just kind of really opened things up. That film that I just mentioned, Miracle in Spanish Harlem, happened after Power. I mean, it's been quite a ride. You know, and I was living out in LA for a long time. I know that Dodger Stadium out there. It's a beautiful place. Nothing like that place at like 7 o'clock, 7:15 at night, man. It is quite a sight. That sunset out in the outfield is.
I've been hoping and praying, Louis, for a Dodger-Yankee World Series now since 1980. I guess it would be 88. 81. Right.
Yeah.
And Robbie, Aaron Judge is not going to the Dodgers, so just get that straight.
Well, yeah, no. But
two of them have been very fortunate. Those two stadiums, I mean, Dodger Stadium and Yankee Stadium, the old one and the new one, cathedrals, not stadiums, cathedrals.
Right.
You know, places where people, it is amazing.
Lou, the biggest question that we're getting tonight, okay, on the board is, how is it to work with Tom Selleck? Can you answer that?
He's great. He's great, and he's no nonsense, and he doesn't mess around. He really does not mess around. This whole COVID thing, that is one of the tightest sets. Where what happened with COVID on television shows, and this happens all across the board. I've done a couple of films, a couple of things. It's gotten very tight. All the peripheral people that used to hang around television sets and movie sets, they're gone. A lot of those people are gone. So the crews have been cut down in half. So it's very tight. You sit in a room, then you walk in, you work, you do the stuff that you're supposed to do. You walk out, they walk you back. You got to get tested every day. It's kind of like baseball and basketball. You got to get tested regularly, and you won't be allowed on the set otherwise. So you have to do it. Plus, you have to be vaccinated. I mean, there's a lot of things that came into play over the last 2.5 years to change the game a lot. A lot of people left the business because of all of this. You know, it wasn't just doctors and nurses and people in the healthcare industry that were either stressed or didn't want to do vaccines. I mean, in the entertainment industry, a lot of people said, "I'm done. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore."
And Louis,
it's very intimate.
On my side of the fence, Louis, I mean, we basically all concerts were shut down for a year and a half, you know?
Yes. Yeah, everything was shut down. Everything was really shut down. It became very difficult. If you hadn't been a working actor and you were trying to find your way during that time,
yeah,
it wasn't going to happen. So there was it changed all of us. It didn't just change the entertainment business, it changed the sports world, it changed day-to-day life, families, people, contacts. You guys all know. I'm not saying anything you guys don't know. It's been challenging, and it still is. It still is.
Hey, Lou, I got a text from Louis Guzman, who's saying, "Watch." He said, "Watch out! You're trying to take too many of his roles." Now,
what's for Louis is for Louis. What's for Louis is for Louis. You know, no way. He's got a great one coming up, and he's been a great friend for a long time. I look forward to seeing him at that golf outing for Gio. You know, and I look forward to seeing him there. I got to tell you guys something. You know, my dad passed away a little while ago, and you know, and Ray. Everybody talks about Ray and how generous he is. And quietly, you know, the last game that my father saw in person, was with tickets that I got that Ray held. He walked in my father, and he walked in his brother, and that was the last game my dad was able to see live. I mean, because afterwards he just couldn't get around. He couldn't get around anymore. And I just wanted to thank you for that, man. That was it's a great man. I got pictures of that day, and it means a lot to me because I grew up watching baseball games with my father, as we all did at some point or another. It meant the world. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be able to help you that way. It's always a thrill.
Yeah, I'll never forget.
One of the beautiful things about baseball, indeed, is if we go back to another movie, of course, if we go Field of Dreams, that depicts that relationship between often a father and a son, but it could be a parent of any gender sibling or any gender person. And there's a special bond that baseball can put together, and it's just really special, and you depicted it perfectly, Louis.
My dad, my relationship with my father was primarily based on our relationship, my relationship to my father is the core of it, the foundation of it. Yes, there was love. Yes, he was my father. Yes, I love and respected him, but it was baseball. It absolutely was baseball. I watched games with him at night when I was a little boy and all through my life. You know, wherever I was, Pop, you watching? I always knew at 7:30 that he would be sitting in front of the TV watching a game. And as he got older and things changed for him, it was still a touchstone for us and important and vital for both of us. And I could be in California, I could be in Europe. If I called him at 7:30, I knew to call him at 7:30. If the Yankees were playing that night, I knew he would be watching the game.
Well, I hope and pray that the owners and the players union understand how deep and important baseball is as a fabric of our whole society. You know,
they really need to get over it and stop with the jostling in the back and the forth and the stuff. Like, just get over it, man. Make acquiesce, do the things that need to be done in order to get the doors open again, so we could just move forward. We've already had a tough time. This is not going to go well. Let me tell you something. I love
baseball, and I had a hard time going back to the game after the last big strike. It was very difficult because I felt a mix of emotions, which I won't go into here.
Sure.
But I was heartbroken. And it took me a couple of years, really, to kind of like step back into the stadium.
Is Louis still there?
Yeah, we had a little technical problems at the end there, but I mean, it really is effective.
Who's that in the bottom there?
It really makes it tougher for everybody to watch this unfold.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of unfolding, number one, Brendan Cuddy, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Always appreciate you and your knowledge of the game, and hopefully you can help these owners settle this strike as soon as possible.
Yes, good idea, Brandon.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Robbie, Steve, Luis, it's been great talking to you guys tonight. I really appreciate having you on. Ray, looking forward to seeing you down at Steinbrenner Field when things get started again, and you know, let's get back at it.
And Brendan, great articles. How can people read your articles? Where they go?
You go to nj.com/Yankees, or you could find me on Twitter where I tweet them out. Brendan Cuddy NJ for New Jersey. I'm a Jersey guy. You know, at Brendan Cuddy NJ. That's my Twitter account. So that's it, guys.
Thank you so much.
Jersey guys, Jersey boys, we're all in it.
Real. So, and now we have a special guest, and I've been wanting to get this gentleman on the show forever. And he's friends with a lot of the mega stars around the sports and entertainment world, including Alex Rodriguez, and a couple of my boys from New York work for him, and they're so proud of being able to work for Tashir Badar. Tashir, how are you?
I'm doing well, Ray. How are you?
What a pleasure. What a pleasure. I mean, this gentleman here, let me just let these guys know that this gentleman here is the true American dream. And when I grow up, I want to be Tashir Badar. Okay?
I want to be on the field with you at the Yankee Stadium. That's my dream.
Well, Tashir, tell the people, number one, what you do and why you do.
Professionally, I own... I've been in business now, Ray, 25 years this April. My career started in '96, the year of Jeter, in the World Trade Center in New York. I worked for Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, in the World Trade Center, obviously before they went down. So I was there in '96. I came back to Houston, and I started my firm. I went independent, and now we own. We're quite heavily in the medical field, between emergency rooms, hospitals. We've had many medical businesses, sold them through the years, did well for our investors. And I'm also very heavily into auto dealerships.
And why is it so important for you to do what you do as far as your philanthropy? You're one of the great humanitarians in America, literally. I see what you do every day. I check to see who did you help that day. And people say that I do a lot. Next to you, I'm a little leaguer.
I'm very humble. I'm very humbled you'd say that. I don't know if that's really true, but I have a great team, first of all, that helps me put it all together. We love kids. You know, I played sports at high level. I played, you know, and I believe that sports has shaped who I am. Got me to where I am in life as far as being well coached and keeping me out of trouble. And I believe that that's a big part of a young woman's quest is to, you know, to be successful. And I think that with sports and structure and being a teammate, it's really important. And I really believe in that. And I love baseball. I may have been better at tennis, but I love baseball. I mean, I have a passion for the game. It's a game of life. I think I heard the captain on his podcast this morning on Knuckleheads, or last night I heard it. He says it's a game of life. I do believe that. You know, it takes all 25 to make it happen. And I've been blessed I have an 11-year-old son who loves the game, plays at a high level. And it started with him, what we were trying to do, and the baseball side. And then now we have 160 teams nationwide. Many of them are 501c3s. There is now so much effort in it. It's become a business as well, but there's a big portion of it that is straight philanthropy. We have been in our medical business, as you know, it's very expensive medicine and how to get treated. We do have, through our Altus Foundation, our company's name is Altus Healthcare. It's been around over 20 years. We've given over $10 million in in-kind donations to people that could use it and basically apply for medical assistance, whether it's radiation therapy, whether it's hospice, whether it's in our dental clinics, whether it's been, rent assistance in times of need. So we've been able to do that over the last decade or so.
Tasir, there was a young man who had an injury, and yeah, there he is right there. Yes. I mean, could you tell the audience what happened here?
He was shot in a situation here in Baytown, Texas, and he unfortunately was a victim of an assault. I think he was trying to help someone, if I recall correctly, Ray. He was paralyzed from the waist down. The young lady in that picture that you see, he was about to, I think, propose to her. He never could propose to her. And on that night at our foundation gala a few years ago, he worked on himself at our rehab center, I believe, with our physician, Dr. McDougall, who worked on him and did the, if I remember correctly, if not all for no cost, majority no cost. And he went up on stage and surprised his already wife, but he never got to propose to her. And he got on one knee and walked by himself and did that.
Wow.
And that was super courageous because he was literally shaking going up the stage. But he had 1,600 people behind him. It was one of the most memorable moments of my life to see. And he got on one knee. He gave her a ring that was donated by one of our sponsors. And it was so beautiful.
Wow. Did you cry, Tasir?
I did. I did.
Okay.
I did. I think there wasn't a dry eye in the house.
Wow.
Robbie, tell us what's going on in your head. I'm looking at your eyes, Robbie. What's going on? What's going on in that mind?
It sounds like a movie script. Somebody should make a movie. It's so dramatic. I mean, it was really what a special thing to do. And obviously, when you say memorable, that's with a capital M. That's an amazing, profound moment in that couple's life. But then the 1,600 people who got to share in that.
Absolutely. I think it did more for us than it did for us than it did to help him get to that point.
Well, to share for everything you're doing to help and reach out and make those kind of special moments for people.
Thank you.
To share, you got to help me with something.
Yes.
As you know, I worked for George Steinbrenner for a long time.
The ultimate boss.
The ultimate boss. And I used to argue with him back and forth because he never wanted people to know how he was helping.
Yes.
Okay? I mean, you remind me of him and how you do these things. And this is what he used to do. He would never allow me, and I would start screaming back and forth to him. And he says, why is it important for you to tell everybody what I'm doing? And I used to say, because we live in a copycat society. And if other rich people see what you're doing, it's going to make them want to help too.
Right.
And by the end of his life, you know what he said to me? Ray, you were right. You was always right. And I know I was right because, a lot of different people, and I won't throw out any names, you would know some of these names, but they became better people after knowing what George was doing. And I gotta thank you for sharing what you do, not only with those 1,600 people, but with, the people that work, Robbie, the people that work for this man are so proud to work for this man. And I love that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that.
I think that what touched me at the Yankee Museum once I recently saw, obviously I'm a fan of the old stadium, but I'm a ticket holder.
Me too.
Of the new stadium.
Me too.
I see your background being the old stadium. It brings me chills. Look at that. Mr. Steinbrenner said, and he said, if you're giving because to get noticed, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I'll never forget that quote. I read it. I believe it's something along those lines.
Right.
And in my culture, where I'm from, in our religious book, in a culture, your right hand's not supposed to know what your left hand does. Mm-hmm. But it's a fine line, like you said, Ray, of how you get out there and get other people involved without doing it for the wrong reasons. And I think that's the balance, right?
No doubt. Tasir, I'm a psychologist, and the work that you do is simply amazing. So this is a privilege and an honor just to get to know you. But talk about your family, all high achievers, and your time at Texas A&M, and how that built your foundation, your internal strength to do what you do now.
Well, I have a wife, 17 years, Zora, and I have a son, 11-year-old Daniel. I'm the last of 4 Texas Aggies. I'm the youngest of all. And I have 2 parents that are now retired. All first generation. My parents are first generation immigrants from Pakistan. I was the youngest who got here, landed in Chicago, Illinois, when I was 1 year old, the day I was turned 1, literally. My dad was in the pulp and paper industry, chemical engineer. My mother's in nuclear medicine. Because everyone in my family is some very highly educated, I would say. I'm the least educated, but the business guy of the group. And what inspired me was to get to where I am. I was very entrepreneurial at a young age, extremely. I threw the paper, cut the grass. I played tennis at a high level, like I told you all earlier. It costs resources. My dad said, my mom and dad really didn't understand that, being a first generation immigrant. They're like, hey, we just got to work and get the kids through school, and that's that. But hey, go have fun, play tennis, play baseball, play basketball, whatever. But it's not really that serious. I mean, I took it very seriously, and I had to pay my own way at the country club. I had to do, I had to cut grass to pay the dues so I could fit in. But that was what drove me to be better. And I wanted no one to look at me differently because I was an immigrant. My dad did tell me once, I'll never forget this line: if you're the best, they need you. There's no prejudice when you're the best. And I'll never forget that line.
Wow. I like that line.
Wow.
Powerful.
Wow. I like that line. And Tasir, are you a Frankie Valli fan?
How can't you be?
I like that. I like that. So you know the history of Robbie Robinson then?
A little bit.
Okay.
A little bit.
Rob,
I've had, by the way, in Houston, I've had a chance to conduct the wonderful Houston Symphony a number of times.
Wow.
And it's a great orchestra, you know.
It is fantastic, Robbie. I think that you would agree. It's probably, not to put words in your mouth, it's probably one of the most underrated symphonies in the country. And the art scene in Houston, obviously New York is New York, but I think that it rivals some of the best. It's just not.
Amen. I love Houston. The only thing I don't like about Houston is their baseball team, but I'm not going to digress.
Hey,
what team do you like, Robbie?
I am a huge Yankees fan. So me and my son are the only guys who wear Yankee shirts when they're playing the Astros around town.
Oh, yeah.
So we are. Wow. I'm not a big fan, but I'm very close friends with a couple of the ball players on the team that, hint, I hope is the future shortstop of the Yankees.
I like that.
Okay.
Hey, I got to ask you, you're building all of these baseball fields for these. Please tell us a little bit about that. Robbie, you got to hear this.
Okay.
Well, I got an idea from a former Yankee. His name is, you all know him. He was number 25 before Teixeira, Jason Giambi.
Right, great guy.
Great guy, great person, great person, and I think one of the, again, most underrated clutch players we had. I wish he was a DH the year after. He would have won a World Series with us. Yeah, he partnered with the counties. He's no longer in this business. He set up something for his father. He partnered with the counties and cities in West Coast, Northern Nevada, California, to create fields like these community fields that you might have in the Bronx, for example, that are, let's say, I would say used but neglected. Does that make sense?
Oh, I'm going to talk to you about something. Go ahead, keep going.
So what his idea was to turf the fields, the infields at least, get the lights up, maintain it. The stuff that private companies, I'm a really big believer in privatization of government. My opinion is private and public partnerships work together because the government has so many things going on that I don't know if they can keep up with the nuances of a baseball park, for example, versus protecting people versus crime and other things, right?
Amen.
And educating and all the things that they have to do. So I got his idea where I partnered. We built these fields. We basically renovated the fields. We put some really good money behind it, got the parks rolling. We could do camps for kids. Like I said, I have some major league friends in Houston. They could do camps for kids, for the community. As part of that, our goal is to do that every so often. Then we have our teams practice there. They have a place to go. It's a good community center. And on the weekends, it's rented out to the tournament directors so we can get back our investment that we are advancing, so to speak, if you could say, to the county, if that makes sense.
Very much so. Very much so. There's a field in the Bronx. In the immortal words of some great singers, there used to be a ballpark. Okay, you know the song, Robbie.
Yeah.
And that's the original Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
Okay, and I cry. I meditate on that field, and I cry on that field several times a year because I don't like how it is. It needs a little renovation so that the kids can come back and play on that field, the field of Root, Garrick, DiMaggio, Mantle, Munson. I mean, come on, Mickey, please. And it's to see it, Robbie, to see the field how it is, it is horrific, okay? And it shouldn't be like that. And with a little love and a little help, that field can be beautiful again. And I could envision tournaments back and forth between, here, Houston, L.A. It would be wonderful and wonderful for the kids,
I would love to look at that. If there's somebody who can, I have an office in New York. I have a home in New York.
Then you call me, we will meet and we will go to that field together with the gentleman that runs the field.
I'll work, Manny, obviously. Manny.
Yes, wonderful. Hey, wonderful kid. Thank you for giving him the opportunity of a lifetime because I know how much he loves you. And I'm so proud. I tell the Yankees every day, we had him and you lost him. Okay, well, I tell the Yankees that.
Their loss is our gain. He's a great kid, but he's not lost to the Yankees. His heart's with the Yankees, you know that. But I feel like he just needed an opportunity, like every American, as you said, American dream, just to kind of be guided. But he's a very smart young man. I mean, listen, New Yorkers are smart. I don't care if you're a taxi driver or if you're a CEO. New Yorkers are smart. They just need the right opportunity. So on that field, Manny, when he's up there, I could go with him. He could check it out as well. If we could get with the city and county and say, listen, who's maintaining this? Maybe we put some resources behind it. If the money makes sense, we have enough tournaments to support it, that we take over the field and figure it out, something like that. Because the cities, as you know, with COVID, New York got battered, the government, the city budgets and whatnot. So if we can help, I don't know the new mayor, I don't know them, but I do know the former couple of guys. But they're, as you know, in politics, it's a revolving door. So
no question about it.
Let me make the obvious point about that. Is there ever any other stadium than the original Yankee Stadium it's got to be the most famous sports stadium in the history of the world. Maybe the Coliseum.
The Roman Coliseum, right.
Yeah.
But Yankee Stadium, everything.
Yeah.
The Pope came there originally. I mean, come on.
That's right. That's right. It's just incredible. And to share, I'm going to also, I'm going to call your people to see if you could possibly attend Gio Urshela's May 9th golf event for youth baseball in New York.
I would love to. If I have the only thing that would stop me is if I got my son's tournament that day or something.
Okay. Well, bring your son. We'll move the tournament to New York.
We got to figure it out. I got to get ZT up there, ZT baseball. I think we got a couple.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He wears number 2 for a reason, Ray.
Oh, I figured that.
Hey,
I figured.
Hey, listen. I know we're actually close friends of Alex.
Yes.
But so he wears 13 sometimes, but number 2 is his permanent number on the down low.
to share, when you speak to Alex, and I'm going to send you a video of some of the things that Alex used to do for me while here. Well, let me tell you, for the 10 years he was a Yankee, he never let me down.
No, he comes through. He comes through. I think he had a rough image for a while. We all know that.
Right.
But I've met with many of these athletes over the years. I do business with Alex. More importantly, we're dear friends. That's the main thing. I think that when he keeps his word, he delivers. I could tell you that. He's not flaky. He's not flighty. And that's why he is where he is post baseball, right?
Well, I will always be very grateful for how many kids because he went into his pocket, we got off the streets to play baseball, and Alex did that for us. And wow. He doesn't get the credit he deserves.
That's right.
He never will. He never will. So thank you so much, and I am grateful for you coming on the show, and I'm hoping that you will come back on again, especially once the season gets started. And I can't wait to see you in New York. And maybe you'll help us bring back the old Yankee Stadium.
I'd love to do it. Hey, that'd be huge. That'd be a big honor for me. I don't know. I'll give you, I've been living in, now I have a place in New York last several years, but I've had Yankee tickets living in Houston for the upwards of a dozen years. Wow. So I'll give you the last story I'll say. When I met Alex and he was signing my jersey for my son, we had known each other for years because of his dealership in Houston, but we never met. I was walking away from him. He goes, "Hey, you picked a good game." I'm like, "Listen, I have season tickets up here." He couldn't believe it. He turned around and he goes, "What? You came up here for a Yankee game? You live in Houston?" So that's dedication, guys. We're big Yankee fans. I need you guys to do something to bring a certain shortstop from Houston up there who can be a leader. Okay, I need you to do that.
Well, he's got to give us a little break in price.
Well, I can work on that. We can make an incentive-laden deal. Okay, just like Alex said.
I got a great idea. We'll combine the incentives, and then we'll have like Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. Robbie will get up to your next big benefit. That's how we'll do all of that.
Awesome. I'd love it. I love it. But if you sign that shortstop, we may actually win a few tournaments, a few big tournaments, Ray.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
It.
Well, Tasia, thank you so very much, man. God bless you. Real quick, what's your vision for 2022? I know we're a month into it, but what's your thoughts about the upcoming year for you?
Not to go back to Alex, but I was at a summit of his a few months ago in September, and he went around the room, and to make a long story short, he looked at himself. He could do more. I feel like I can do more with my employees. I feel like there's a lot more I can give. There's no time in the day for anything, but I'm going to create time. My vision is, as far as my businesses, we continue to grow them. We've had a great run these last couple of years. This is my 25th year in business now. Wow. So I'm, as far as our auto dealerships, we have a certain number of acquisitions we'd like to do. Healthcare, grow it throughout the state of Texas. As far as ZT Baseball, ZT Sports, a little more professionalization, Chris, of our organization, because it's new, it's a startup. There's a lot of, as you know, managing egos of baseball is very difficult. Ray could probably attest to that. And we're trying at the youth level, it's huge. So getting them to get on the same page, getting them to be scalable, getting the curriculum to coach the coaches, try to do things the right way. That's our vision. But as far as business and the baseball and the foundation, just continue what we're doing. And try to, you know, touch people's lives and do more. And you know, I always tell people, good is the enemy of great.
Well, let's hope that we can get the Gio Urshela All-Stars together with your organization and combine help. We need help.
We got to figure it out. I love Gio.
Oh, he's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasir. God bless you.
Robbie.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I know you will.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
And Robbie, now you're gonna show us a little bit of what's coming on with Joey D and Jammin' Java.
Yeah, Jammin' Java tonight at that would be 10 o'clock New York time, 7 o'clock California time, and it's actually going to be 9 o'clock in Nashville time is where I am as we speak.
So you're not doing it from the Dodger parking lot, are you?
Well, this is kind of. But Joey D is going to be on, and Ray, are you into TikTok?
No.
How are you?
No, I see it
a little bit. It's great stuff
it.
On TikTok.
I think because you know we recorded our version of Peppermint Twist that we released, and it went great guns, and then Christmas hit. We're ready to get it out there again. But you know, Joey D, he had, as we talked about earlier in the show, 1960 years ago, had the #1 hit in the world, really, Peppermint Twist. And Joey did a gracious endorsement, and I've got a little clip of the endorsement that he did. Let's play that clip.
Let's check it out and take us home with that clip.
You're going to take us home with that. So, Robbie, we will see you next week.
Come back on. We got time. Play the clip. It's only a minute and a half.
The name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist. The name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist. Peppermint Twist. Peppermint Twist. Peppermint Twist. Well, they got a new dance and it goes like this. The name of the dance is the Peppermint Twist.
Hi everybody, this is Joey D from the Starlighters, and I can prove it. Well, they got a new dance and it goes like this. I don't jump as high as I used to, but I'd like to acknowledge some of the great people that have graced me by doing my song that I wrote back in 1961 with Henry Glover. The song is called The Peppermint Twist, and the people I'm alluding to are people like Bon Jovi, Caterina Valente, and the great John Cougar Mellencamp.